All right, welcome back. You're watching The Money Show on ET Now. We're talking about real estate today and the mouth-watering prices that many residential spaces, even across major metro cities, are available. So let's take forward the conversation with a renowned real estate consultancy, Propstack. I have with me the co-founder, Mr. Raja Seetharaman, who's joining us now on the show. Thank you so much for taking our time today on the show. Mr. Seetharaman, before I talk about realty prices, etc., I want to talk to you about the situation that we are currently in. A very scary and infectious second wave of COVID cases. Thirdly, the localized lockdown. I mean, Delhi as well announced a lockdown. Many migrant workers as well seem to be returning back. Based on your conversations with various developers, is there a possibility of a delay in the completion of ongoing projects that home buyers should brace themselves for?
Firstly, Mubina, thanks for having me. There certainly is, a delay in project delivery, and, it's inevitable. As people are getting used to perhaps coming back to some kind of normalcy, you've got the second wave that has hit, right? And it's playing out differently in different asset classes. For example, in the commercial real estate, you find a lot of corporates who are fine with a slight delay in delivery as they're grappling with the work-to-home kind of situation, while in the residential sector, you find a lot of buyers wanting to move in quickly, right, to their upgraded, more enhanced kind of apartment, which allows them to, work more efficiently during the pandemic and perhaps even beyond. That's really how the situation is currently playing out. But to put it simply, I think everybody is bracing for project delivery, delays in project deliveries.
All right. Okay. Let's talk about then how you view affordability of houses. And I specifically say affordability because, prices have gone down. But many complain that if I have to compare prices to my income, I still find it a little unaffordable. Do you think that's changed? And I will ask you this for metros, for towns as well. Do you think that there's been a significant change in affordability as well, with it improving in the last 1 or 2 odd years?
Let me respond to your question slightly differently. Instead of comparing it to income versus, the pricing of the apartments. What's happened is, because of the lockdown and the slowdown in sales, you have certain states, and certain developers who are willing to offer special rates. That is, if you're willing to commit. Let's take the example of Maharashtra, Mumbai and Pune, right? The state government offered these stamp duty exemptions. And over the last quarter, you found record sales, in the state. And typically, Mumbai and Pune tends to be more of a professional-driven or end-user market as compared to a city like Delhi, which is more speculative in nature, which is more investment-driven. And in that scenario, when you're looking at slowdown in sales and delays in project deliveries, you're then experiencing, an overall slump in the real estate sector itself. So on one hand, a proactive measure taken by the state government in Maharashtra, influenced and increased sales. But on the other hand, the pandemic has really kind of ended in a slump in sales in the overall environment in Delhi.
Absolutely, and I think that explains, it clearly shows the sort of price sensitivity as well. The fact that, like Mr. Seetharaman mentioned, that when, the stamp duty was cut in Maharashtra, we did see, an improvement in sales. In fact, that area did do better than maybe a Delhi and other cities. Okay, I'm going to ask you the question that I asked our a personal finance expert as well just before we went into the break. Rental yields in India are low. From the point of view as an investment, how do you view realty? Because firstly, appreciation has taken its own sweet time. It's been very slow in the last decade. Secondly, yields as well are very low compared to the world.
So I'll bifurcate this into rental yield for residential and rental yield for commercial. Commercial yields are comparable or better than global standards. But when you're talking about residential rental yield, we are net around 2-3%. But guess what? Now you will see, because of the work from home environment, you'll find a lot of professionals and even corporates starting to rent apartments. So while there could be a dip in terms of appreciation of the value of the apartment, just because of the sheer demand for rental, you'll find the rentals moving up. So people who are already invested in should be looking forward to a higher yield as compared to the previous years. That's how we think it's going to pan out. We think people are going to start renting out more, and due to which, the yields will start inching forward, as the days progress.
Okay, so there is some hope for yields to increase because, Mr. Seetharaman sees the case of rentals actually being more in demand. And you think, Mr. Seetharaman, that in today's age then, if you have somebody young who comes to you and asks you that, should I buy or should I rent a property? What would you advise? Or rather, what are the different features in the property market that you would point, to him towards?
Without blinking an eyelid, I would ask them to rent the apartment. Traditionally, we are prone to buying an apartment because of multiple reasons, including security, including, for marital reasons and stuff like that, right? But if you're looking at it purely from an economic perspective and going by current conditions, which is so volatile, the environment is fairly dynamic right now. It makes sense for you to wait and watch and rent the apartment from an investment perspective and from an economics perspective as well.
All right. Okay. But if somebody has surplus cash lying with them and, they have been looking at buying a home from an investment perspective, do you think now is a great time to do so? Or even for that matter, from a residential point of view?
I would recommend that they invest in commercial real estate. That's quite stable. We're not seeing significant dip in terms of the rentals. They're holding strong. And, with the REITs listings going strong, over the last few quarters, multiple REIT listings have surfaced. I would recommend that over the next few quarters, they should be looking at investing in the REITs.
Okay, well, I think so much more to discuss, but we have a bit of a shortage of time. Mr. Seetharaman, thank you so much for taking our time and joining us today on the show.
Pleasure being with you. Thanks a lot for having me.
And I think with that, we're completely out of time as well. So we'll wrap it up on The Money Show. Stay tuned to ET Now.